Sandeep, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us on Future Summits Online Meditation, Miracles, and Manifestation Summit. Uh, from the moment that you got in touch with me, I was like, this dude is awesome. So this guy is absolutely awesome. Not just do you have this absolutely amazing, fantastic, infectious smile and attitude and energy, you also back it up with all this knowledge and experience that just enriches everybody's lives that you touch. So it's a great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's such a wonderful job that you're doing putting together stuff on this topic is intense, and in fact I was wondering how you've compacted it into a summit, but it is much needed. It may still just be a drop in the ocean, but if just that drop could amplify itself, we're going to produce miracles together.
And I love that because we've spoken about that before, and about obviously before the summit we do discuss various things, and you said that it's like your whole philosophy is about how do we create miracles together, and that was the beautiful thing to me because it brings about family, collaboration, humanity, all the wonderful things, all the changes we want to see in the world, starting with ourselves. So we'll speak about that in a moment, but before we do that, Sandeep, there are a few people in the world that don't know who you are yet. Okay, but we need to remedy that. Okay, so a little bit about you and why you do what you do.
Gosh, I hope I can keep this really short because I'm the least interesting of what's happening on this summit. What's happening is all about you. The whole concept that Angelo's put together of getting to understand the power of meditation, the intensity of that to manifest whatever you want, and it is miraculous. And I've just been a recipient of this for the last few years. So just to pull back a little, my story, let's say, starts about 15 years ago when I was the founding consultant of a consulting company, and I was wondering, what is it that we are really doing? There was a sense of hollowness within me because I was consulting to the likes of very large companies that operate in India called business process outsourcing companies, and they hire these young 20 something year olds, and those guys work nights for US clients on problems like somebody's credit cards gone bust or a medical insurance claim needs to be filled out. And I said, this cannot be right. It cannot be right that an entire generation of Indians is coming up with the sole purpose of being a back-end clerk. It's a great waste of human potential, and besides, we're probably not in cognizance of the fact that these problems are of our own doing and probably did not have been created. That, Angelo, started me on a journey of really figuring out what is our purpose if not this, and took me to a lot of Vedic masters and then Tibetan lamas and Chinese and Japanese masters. I've had the good fortune of assembling a lot of this Oriental wisdom into me, and then taking that across through workshops, training programs, coaching, and of course speaking and interviews and stuff, again miraculously across the world. So 15 years ago, I was stressed out running a consulting company, wining, dining, networking, making ends meet, cash flow problems. Cut 5 years, 2010, I was a corporate retiree. I was in the Himalayas for a few months in Tibetan monasteries. Cut another 5 years, I had walked 500 villages of India, uh,
Wow.
helping create micro entrepreneurs because that was my purpose. It always starts with what's your purpose? Then my purpose was to create impact, and cut another 5 years. And I found that the work that I was also doing on the side, besides taking solar energy to villages and stuff like that, was helping people discover their personal energy. And that took me around the world. I've in the last 4 years been to about close to 25 countries and conducted workshops all over 4 continents. So if that wasn't a miracle, what would have been? Because the 15-year-old Sandeep Nath, the 15 years previous Sandeep Nath, would have burnt out about 10 years ago. And here I am, I feel 10 years younger than I was 15 years ago.
And that's one of the reasons, Sandeep, that I was so happy you joined the summit, because, like I said, I've said a few times already, the folks that I invited to the summit have to be a living representation of the stuff that they teach. Okay, you have to walk the talk, and people need to see, like, what is your life like now? The things that you teach in your life, is there congruency? Do you represent the stuff that you teach rather than just being theoretical? And dude, you walk the talk like nobody else. Yes, I want to do mindfulness. What I'm going to do, go to Tibet to live in the monasteries. I want to go to 500 villages in India. That's commitment over and beyond like what most people will do. So you are the real deal, brother, and I'm so happy that you're here with us. And we got so much to learn from you, and we only have a short amount of time, but we have some surprises at the end that is going to help a lot of people get to know you a lot better and be able to learn from you in the best possible way, which I'm very happy about. So I want to touch on one little thing of what you said, if you don't mind. When you said you help people find their energy, what does that mean?
Well, that is what I discovered is at the core of our existence. So I have to thank my Tibetan teachers for that, because they are experts in how we are constituted. Sitting up there in the Himalayas, they have really nothing better to do than meditate. So you just sit and either you freeze or you go deep in, and they've gone deep in. That's where all these acupressure, acupuncture and stuff like that has come into the world, because those are the energy channels within us. And this is it's a very deep subject. We don't have time for it, but it's a subject of the energy anatomy, which Western science is completely oblivious of. But I'll tell you this, that it is basically an energy packet that moves from lifetime to lifetime as part of our consciousness. And that consciousness is what translates into something physical in the womb and becomes a kind of nervous system, right? And from there becomes the skeletal system, and our nascent energy, which is called chi in Mandarin and ki in Japanese, the rei ki, for example, is life force energy, that settles down in the bone marrow. Thereafter, other organs and stuff develop. Now, I'll leave you with this, that if there is a problem with your bone marrow today, or worse, with your nervous system, like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, you've got no solution for it in Western medicine, and you probably never will, because it's going closer and closer to your energy self. You can replace an organ, you can replace a bone, but you get leukemia of the bone marrow. The stem cell research is the closest you can go. And what is a stem cell? It is pulling out from your nascent chi, which was in your umbilical cord, pulling out that, whatever they call it, the cells or whatever, which multiplies, which regenerates. Because that nascent chi, you can't regenerate it out of the marrow, but you can regenerate it out of something you've frozen. So we are all energy. And the way to a balanced, fulfilling, and miraculous life is being in alignment with that energy.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. Even though you explained it so beautifully, you have made it very obvious that this is definitely a subject we can speak about for days and days and days and days and days.
I'd love
Okay.
to.
There's so many elements to it. There are so many aspects to explore in that short little snippet that you gave us right now. So personally, I've been inspired. I'm going to definitely be doing some research. Now that we become friends, I'm going to pick your brains. I'm going to pick your brains about this, because it's
You're
absolutely
welcome.
fascinating, and it seems like this energy. I'm going to use a different term, if you don't mind, and then just tell me if I'm on the right track or not. It sounds more like, rather than energy, more like life force. Am I understanding this correctly?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so I know it sounds very science fictiony, life force, but that's what it feels like. It's like that's just the whole root of all of our life. But we also mentioned that it's become something tangible in the room. Okay, now people like myself who have not explored this, have not had experiences, have not been to monasteries, we'd be like, well, it's energy. How can it be tangible unless it's like a light bulb or something? So can you just tell us a little bit about what is the tangibility of energy?
Did you say light bulb?
Yeah, I say, well, that's the only energy we can see is the light bulb, and that's electricity. It's not even energy. So
Awesome. No, I love the fact that you use that word because that's a very common problem. And the problem is that unless we have felt something with our senses, like you've seen the light, you are not willing to accept that it exists.
yeah,
That is the limitation of science because science requires you to measure something. And if they don't have an instrument to measure it, you can't measure it. So that doesn't mean it's science fiction. It's just that you don't have a means to measure it. Now, speaking of the light bulb, once let's say you bought a house and you walk into it for the first time and you put the switch on and nothing comes on, you're going to check with the builder or the guy who handed it over, is the electricity connected? And he said, I don't know. Like, then you check the fuse box and then you check the substation. And finally, you figure out whatever the problem was. But if you switch the switch on and the light bulb comes on, there are no further questions. You're not even going to drill a hole to see if there's a wire behind the switch.
yes,
So let's give our viewers a light bulb moment. I'm not
cool.
promising you that this is going to work for you, but do it with me and then do it again that you know what's to be done uh, near a tree or in a balcony or close to nature. Why do I say this? I say this because what we're going to do is we're going to feel energy. Feeling is a sensory impulse. And once you've felt it, there are no further questions. We can take a deep dive on how to use that to manifest. All right? Feeling energy is easy because energy, like I said, is all around us. For the scientific mind, there are atoms all around us. All right? You're
Yes.
made of atoms, your laptop's made of atoms, I'm made of atoms, the plant is made of atoms. We buy that. Atoms are vibrating. There is a vibrational energy. So everything's got energy. You just have to know how to collect it, harness it, and alchemize it. Another scientific fact, Einstein, E is equal to mc square. M is matter, mass. So all mass, all matter is energy. So don't ask me to explain that one. I didn't get a Nobel Prize. But what I do know is that there is some scientific rationale that equates all of that. So let's say you are on a Himalayan mountain face, snow face, okay? And you're moving your hands around like this. Now, Angela, I'd like you to do this too. I know you're in a
Yep.
studio
I'm
and
doing
you
it. I'm
cannot
doing
feel
it.
it
I
because
love
of
it.
the electrical impulses around us. But do it again near a tree because the trees, nature has great energy around. Okay, and bring your hands together slowly like this till you get them into a clap, sort of, like that, lightly. Don't operate from logic. Don't wonder how loud my clap is or whether it's a flat clap or a round clap. Doesn't matter. It's just you bring it like this and then slowly you stop clapping while you bring your hands together and just feel between your palms, between your fingers. And as you do, you might start feeling some sensation. It could be a tingling, it could be a warmth, it could be a vibration, it could be a stretchiness, it could be like you're compressing something. And as you do this two, three, four times, maybe the first time you just feel just something strange, elasticity. But as you do it, you will start feeling that just like on the Himalayan face, you could make a snowball if you did that. Here, you will create an energy ball right here. And as I do it, I'm not acting this out. This ball is getting bigger. And this is a ball I can't press unless I really want to press. If I just go with the feeling of it, this is it. And I'm holding on to it. And I can pack it in my energy center, in the navel area, and give myself an energy shot. You can do this. And once you do, you know you've got that shot. You'll feel a little happier. You will feel a little lighter. You will enjoy it.
Okay, I'm gonna be very weird. That was freaky, man. That was really freaky. I was like, okay. But then I started feeling like a pressure. You know, I
The
feel as
pressure.
if, yeah, it's like a pressure, like something's pushing against my hands, and I'm like, there's nothing there. But then your brain thinks, but there is something there. You know, we just can't see it. We just can't see it. And then you start saying there's a tingling, a warmth. I didn't feel the warmth, to be honest with you. Tingling very little, but then the elasticity became very obvious. As it was, I didn't. It wasn't just pressure on the inside of my hands. It was this elasticity pulling it out as well. Yeah, I'm about ready to run down to the forest down the road to go try it out. You know, where there's going to be a lot more powerful. There's going to be. It's kind of like it feels like magic, to be honest. It does feel a bit like magic, but so we need to learn how to. I love the word you used here. I wrote it down actually. To alchemize it. We need to learn how to
Exactly.
alchemize it. And is that what you teach people, Sandy?
Pretty much. You see, I'll go back to your light bulb because I'm glad you brought that word up. It's not the light bulb for its filament. It's the light bulb for what you can do with it. You can read. You can apply the light for various things, whatever that was you did. you know, so it's the same with energy. Now you know it's there. You felt it. We're going to wait another 10, 15, 20 years before the scientists can figure out how to measure the thing. But experiential knowledge is way more powerful than measurable outcomes. What you've experienced, what the ancient oriental wisdom is all about, is experiential,
Yeah.
and that is here to solve contemporary business problems. Like I said, in my days as a consultant, I was wondering whether what we're doing is just inventing newer and newer problems to solve older and older problems. It was scary, it was disturbing for me, and the disturbance vanished. Then I realized we already have the solutions in our inner power, in what we are constituted with, in what we are about. So that's what I teach. I teach people how to connect with their inner power and connect the inner power with the universal energy, and that matching of life force, that alignment, is what brings about individual wisdom.
Okay. And as I said before, that just that simple exercise felt like magic. So I've heard this before. I've heard this before. I haven't had the experiential, haven't had the experience yet. As I said, the wisdom is experiential. I've not had it. It's in the amount or quantity that I would have liked in order to be the biggest advocate. But I'm still absolutely fascinated and wish to learn more. I wish to learn more and experience more. And you said it so simply. Yes, I'm here to help people find their inner power and align it. It's not as simple or as blasé as that. It's a massive thing. Once you achieve that, I'm guessing everything changes. Absolutely everything in your life changes. It's a life changing experience. And you said you helped people like that before. So do you have anything that you can share with us a little bit about people you worked with who might have been in a place that we can relate to, of disbelief, of pessimism, maybe even depression, in a sense, like, no, this will never work for me. I don't believe in this. It's not real. My life sucks. I'm predestined to have this horrible, horrible, troublesome life my whole life. And then after you worked with them, there was this amazing transformation that happened. Have you had that experience?
Well, yes, that's one of the nicest things about being in this space, that the space is transformative. And I may be an observer to the experience, but the experience is energetic, and it's very beautiful. Like, for instance, since we were talking about uh, the limitations of Western medicine, and our paranoias, the problems we create for ourselves because of stuff like that, I'm reminded of this lady who was on 16 tablets. She was 90 kgs, and she had all sorts of things, blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, name it. Whatever can go up goes up, whatever can go down goes down. And she got onto what I call the inner power blueprint to start with. The blueprint is a 3-day program which actually introduces a beginner to what is your energy anatomy and why is it that these vibrations are available to us, and how do you tap into those vibrations, and then that takes us into mindfulness, and that takes us into meditative practice. And the result of a blueprint is that you start manifesting stuff because now you're in that direction. You're fueled by that ancient oriental wisdom. This lady, we set a goal that in 6 months you're going to be down to about half your medication. And I had no idea. I really don't know the long forms of medicines and all. Any word that's more than 10 alphabets is not worth knowing. So, so I didn't tell her what she's going to drop, but her body's going to talk to her. And another thing, speaking of body, the body and the physicality are linked. So her physical relationships, like she was having this empty nest syndrome now that the kids had gone to college, and the husband had his own business, and he was not available for her since years. So that was another issue. And this lady writes back to me in about 4 or 5 months that she has dropped 8 pills. And in 9 months, she says, I had the first trip out in years with my husband. And she ended that year with 3 trips, including an international holiday.
Wow. Wow. So like in
And
less than a year,
yes,
totally different person.
absolutely. And the whole journey starts in 3 days with, just going through what is the blueprint. And then there are other programs, how to use that for relationships, how to use that for mind body healing, how to use that for manifesting with what are called chakras in ancient Indian wisdom. They're basically energy centers. So, how do you fuel your chakras with universal energy so that your inner power develops even while you're sitting in a metro or an aeroplane or anywhere? You can just be fueling yourself up for delivering your best, being most productive, being most happy, and of course, never seeing a doctor again.
Okay. We're in the space at the moment in meditation, miracles, and manifestation. And I'm sure a lot of people would dream of the day of not having to see a doctor again, especially those who are struggling right now with like chronic illnesses or conditions that have been plaguing them for many many years. So when you say you'll never see a doctor again, they're like skeptical. Now, what I wanted to speak to you about, to be honest, which I know a lot of people will resonate with us. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people will resonate with us. Is we are so conditioned. We're so conditioned to believe things a certain way, understand things a certain way. From when we're very, very young, from our parents to the school system, to the education society, whatever it is, we're conditioned to believe a certain way. And when you come with a different way, it's very difficult for people to reconcile what we believe and know and what we're conditioned to believe to this something different, to step over that. I know in psychology, it's called that crossing the terror barrier, from your conscious mind putting new ideas inside. But how do you deal with the folks that are like that? We did the energy ball thing, which is very experiential. We're like, wait a minute, maybe there's something more to this than I imagined, because I could feel it, even though there's nothing there. I felt it. It was weird.
Is that?
Okay, so it's like there must be something to it. But getting over that conditioning takes time. I'm assuming it takes a bit of time, even though the evidence is there and you're having the experiences, etc. So I'm saying from my perspective, but I want to know from you: are there times when this transformation happens very, very fast?
Angelo, you're a darling, yeah. You always use exactly the words that are going to help me.
It's
It
on
is
purpose, I promise.
your conditioning, and I say this at your face. It's your conditioning that is making you think that it's going to take time.
Oh,
Let's go back to the energy packet that was born out of the womb. This kid, for the first 2, 3 years of his life or her life, is a pure form of energy. And that's the time when we start conditioning the kid with what's no, don't do this, don't do that, don't have this. Don't have that. And then we, create peels of onions over the kid. And by the time the kid is a teenager, he's a perfect onion. And by the time he gets into a job environment, he's like a solid onion. Anything that you have to do, you got to cut through a lot of peels, right? Which is why commonsensical experiential wisdom doesn't cut through. But if we look at the kid, which they're born in harmony, and this is a harmony of body, mind, and spirit. Now, when we are an adult, body, mind, and spirit are very fashionable. We go to spas and we go to, fancy places where you can throw a lot of money and get a transitory experience of something really cool. But the body, the mind, and the spirit are all inside us. That's our inner power. It's just going back into the alignment, into defining that harmony once again. And I'm not saying that you become a naive kid again. I'm saying you stay an adult, but instead of cutting through the layers of the onion, you're right at the center of the onion. You pop out your head and you're connected with the universe. How do you do that? So how you do that is it's pretty much, again, I'm going to use that word conditioning. I just love you for using that. A fly is going through that piece of glass, and the fly has a very scientific temperament, and it knows that it is more than 5 mm and the glass is just 5 mm. It also knows, because it's measured this, that every time it bangs its head against the glass becomes a little hotter. And it knows that if it just bangs it against the glass maybe 10,000 hours or 66 days or some crappy number, it's going to go through. It does not, in this entire pursuit, realize that it could go half a meter this side and there's an open window and poof, it's where it wanted to be. That is
You just described
miraculous.
life in like in like 2 sentences. How often do we do that? All the time, right?
This
No,
is
I
your
must stay
onion.
here. I must
This is your
continue.
onion. And this is, you get out of the onion and you're out connected with the universe. Connecting with the universe, connecting with the universal energy is about renewing ourselves. It's a process of renewal to take us back to that original alignment, to that kid, to that harmony. And it's a renewal that takes place at each individual inside them. It's just about understanding how we do what we do and why we do what we do, and how meaningless that is, and how zombaic that is in a sense, and getting a little mindful and discovering you are there.
Okay, I'm blown away. I love the example of the fly because I could relate so much to that. How, this is what they told me to do, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. You just turn and look to the one side. It's like, I'll get there, just go around it, and you don't have to have the pain. You don't have to have the aggravation. It doesn't take the time. What a beautiful example of that. So I don't know what to say, Sandeep. To be honest with you, you've blown my mind, as you did the first time we met. And I want to tell the people who are watching, because they might think this is the first time I'm hearing this stuff from him. Okay, we spoke about totally different things whenever we first met. This is brand new stuff. That's why I'm so blown away by this, and would really love to explore that further. Having said that, though, we are almost out of time. We're almost out of time, and as with everything else in the summit, there's only so much we can do in half an hour to 45 minutes that the interviews are. But what we are offering is the opportunity to connect with people like Sandeep, to learn from them personally, to engage in the process, to absorb their knowledge and experience and expertise in such a beautiful, beautiful way, and make those options available to everybody and make it accessible as much as possible to everybody. So Sandeep has done two things. Okay, he's done a lot of things, but two specific things I'm going to mention right now. What he's done for us, specifically for us in the summit. The first thing is we spoke about the courses that he does, and he's got the 3-day. Please remind me again, what did you call it? The starter pack thing?
I've got the Inner Power Blueprint, but just for the attendees of the Future Summit, I'm going to give away 5 additional products with it.
What? Okay, so the blueprint. applies 5 products, and I'll let you say how much, and you're giving us a ridiculous discount as well, an absolutely ridiculous discount of the original price of that. And I won't let you say it. You say it. You tell them. I'm excited.
Guys, it's like this. I want this message to go out because we want to break out of that conditioning that Angelo was talking about. You know, and it can only be done experientially. So what I did through this lockdown was put together what I know in these video based products, and the blueprint has become a starting point for so many people. But as I mentioned, there is something about how you can improve your relationships through mindfulness, how you can increase the harmony within. There are techniques how you can tap your chakras for fueling yourself with energy, how you can heal yourself internally, and how you can develop a stronger mind body connection. So while there are about a dozen products there, I want to give these five as a total package, and do that just for people who have attended this summit, confided in us and liked what we had to say. So there is a page which is sandeepnath.com/mmm, obviously for the meditation, miracles and mindfulness summit. And so just go over to sandeepnath.com/mmm. You're going to find 80% off the price of these products. I'm not going to keep it for very long, but and that's what I told Angelo. But I told him that I am going to make that as an offer so that you just have no entry barriers to getting started. You know, and then once you are experiencing that, I would very much love to hear from you, because once you're on the program, we're connected, and we'll be in touch in whatever medium you choose.
And the first thing I noticed, Sandy, when I was researching people for the summit, and I found you, was how many testimonials you have. Okay, I've never seen anybody with so many testimonials that sing your praises from all over the world. It's absolutely crazy. So like I said, he's the real deal. But for those, and I know this is a very difficult time for us, for a lot of us, financially, because of COVID, job losses, etc., etc. And so I'm ever so grateful for that very generous offer that you're making for the viewers. And for those who aren't able to take advantage of that right now, Sandeep does not want to leave you with nothing. Okay, so above and beyond the discount, above and beyond adding extra products, he's also giving away a free gift. Okay, and the gift is about renewal. Sandeep, you want to tell him about that as well, please?
Thanks, Angelo. Yes, you see, we were born into harmony, but then we lost it, but now we can renew. So it's been my pet project, in a sense. I've been thinking about what it is that we can do to empower ourselves at an individual level, through how we work, what we do, what are our habits. And I managed again to put that together in a book, which actually came through energetically. When you read the book, because I'm giving that to you free, when you read it, you're going to find in the preface itself how that book came to me. It was channeled to me. And it was written before the pandemic, uh, in December last year. That is December 2019. And it was when I was editing it that I found that the habits that have been channeled and prescribed, which is something that I had always wanted to, somehow reach out to people, that how to raise consciousness, ever since I started getting those inputs from my energy masters, that just came together so beautifully in this book. And I hope you find it beautiful, because again, that's a book with a huge amount of reviews. Uh, well, you read them. It's available at renewalism.com/PSS. I just let you know that it'll take you to a WhatsApp group, which is not for communication. It's only because in the group description, you can download the EPUB, MOBI, and PDF files, whatever you like. And then you stay connected with me for, as you go on this journey. If you have bottlenecks in creating that harmony, I would love to help. So I love WhatsApp for whatever reason. If you don't use it, just download it and note my number, give me a call. or just write in to me and stay connected. Clear all that stuff, all those onions out of your life and manifest whatever you want. It's not a miracle, it's a process.
Sandeep, thank you ever so much. I'm really, really excited. I can't wait to start reading your book. I really can't, because this is precisely one of the most important things I've been looking for myself as well. And I'm going to use the word again because it means so much to me. Maybe because it's like a Greek word. It's a Greek word, so it means a lot to me. And it has to do with that. Finding your inner power and alchemizing it. Okay. Finding the energy and alchemizing it, making it real, making it tangible. Right now it seems like magic, but since you're the living example of it, it is possible. We just need to learn how. And I love the fact that, with this few different ways of thinking, a few different ways of behaving, with the tools, with the guidance that you give, it can happen really, really fast. It can happen really, really fast, which is what we need in our lives right now, and not engage on years and years of progress. And out of everybody in the summit so far, I think you've given the most things. You've given the most things. You made the biggest offers out of everybody so far, and that just confirms for me what I felt the first time I met you, is that you've got one of the biggest hearts in the world. Your whole mission, your whole purpose is to serve. The example was from you going to all those villages in India, 500 villages in India, helping them with solar energy, etc., out of the kindness of your heart, not with the ulterior motive of making billions of dollars. Your heart is to help people. Your heart is to renew people. Your heart is to make the world a better place. So you are literally the change that you want to help create in the world. If I'm understanding that right, but you're doing it together with other like-minded people. So we are creating it, like you said right at the beginning of the interview. Together, we are creating the change we want to see in the world. Am I understanding?
Totally. Totally, absolutely right. Thank you so much for quoting Mahatma Gandhi. That quote is very dear to my heart. Be the change you want to see in the world.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the summit with us, Sandeep. As we have discussed in our chat before the summit, that I will definitely be calling you back to participate in future summits that we have. Definitely mental wellness, absolutely how to deal with stress and anxiety and depression, these kinds of things. But we have tons of other summits coming up that I think you'll be perfect for. So people are going to be seeing you again. So I won't say goodbye. I'll say till next time.
Till next time. Thank you so much.
Take care, brother.
Love you guys. Have a great day.